Bars.
Live from the Winn-DC Radio Studio in the shops at Iverson, this is the Balancing Act Radio Show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com, the Winn-DC Radio app, Facebook Live and YouTube Live on the Winn-DC Radio pages, and of course, it's all powered by GoWin.media.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, and everybody in between. Welcome to another special jam-packed edition of Bars, the official hump day motivation for the DMV and beyond. I am AJ Throwback, as I am here with you every single Wednesday on this cloudy, cold Wednesday morning. A little chilly in the studio too, you know what I mean? But I'm not too fazed by that. You know, I got the good thermal on. I'm all right. Got to stay toasty. Got to stay prepared. Anyway, just want to send my condolences because, as many of you all know, the memorial services for the 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush, are today in D.C. Many of us are off, including myself. Now, while I was not the biggest fan of President Bush when he was alive, I don't feel like he did a lot of things for people of color. I still send my condolences to his family and all of those who loved and cared about him. I'm not one of those people that wish ill will toward anybody, no matter, you know, what they may have done in their lives. Now, I'm not sitting here, you know, boo-hooing either, but at the same time, you know, it is what it is. But that is that. Definitely want to send a special shout out to my Winn-DC Radio family of the Foreplay, the Eargasm Show. I was here last night celebrating with them. Shout out to Hot Toddy, Miss Lolly, Showtime, 7 years in the game. Also, shout out to Easy, the founder of Foreplay, the Eargasm Show. Had a good time with them last night. Lots of laughs, lots of adult conversation. If y'all have never been to an anniversary show with them, it is a wild affair, but it is great fellowship, good times, and I enjoyed myself. And I tell anybody out there, if there is an adult conversation, sexy slow jam combination out there better than Foreplay, I guarantee you're lying. We got it right here, the best in the business right here. So shout out to them, and I appreciate them welcoming me back for another anniversary show with them last night. Definitely want to let y'all know we got a good, actually great, excellent show on the way. Gonna be talking about that Jay-Z verse from What's Free off of Meek Mill's Championships album. I know you heard it, and if you haven't, you need to go listen to it ASAP. But a lot of people are calling it the best rap verse of the year. So we got a poll on Facebook. That's at Bars on Air, or look us up, Balancing Act Radio Show. Is Jay-Z's verse from What's Free the rap verse of the year? Yes or no? And if you don't feel like it is, comment with what you think is better. And also at 12 o'clock, very special guest, my cousin, Mrs. Carolyn Royal of Life Changes Lives Incorporated. We'll be talking to her about her amazing nonprofit organization, her spiritual journey, and also she's putting out a book, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be talking to her about everything that she's got going on. And of course, we're going to be showcasing the best and brightest in independent music from the DMV and beyond, including this first number right here from June the Kid, Family Wins, on the official Hump Day motivation for the DMV and beyond. This is Bars.
Yeah, man. As we bring another one to a close,
Live to.
I'm gonna take y'all to a place,
A positive place, man.
a place of positivity,
Yeah.
some place where we gon' all rise.
We gonna
We
rise
do it together, you know what I mean?
together.
Time for people to start sticking together, man.
Put the differences to the side.
Foolishness aside.
Yeah.
I just want to see the family win, you know what I mean?
I want to see the family win.
Check it.
I just
wanna see everyone getting paper, taking care of your neighbors, doing each other favors, I just wanna see everyone in the Benz, riding on chrome rims, no one beef when the family wins. I say no one beef when the family wins. I swear the world could be a better place if we just sit back and we help each other elevate. I got a lot of love in my time that I know is fake, but on the real I wish my progress just could motivate. Lord knows I want it all, but I don't want it by myself. Want everybody around me stacking wealth, drink good, blowing gas, and still in good health. We can get there, baby. Ain't a reason for you be acting shady. Less hate, more love. Why fight? More hugs, prejudice at the door. My God, he the judge. I'm a victim of it too. Situations critical. If you see me in the streets, just speak what it do. If I could bring Chris back just for a day, he would look me in my eyes. I know just what he say. He would tell me he was proud, little brother made a way. Keep on doing what you do, keep stunting, getting paid. So if you hear this, I love you all. Yeah. That's it, folks. Live part 2, the interview. You know what I mean? I wanted to end it on a positive note. Straight up. If you're listening right now, man, I'll tell you like this, man. It's time for us to start helping each other. What one man can do multiplies with the help of others. When we stick together, there's no telling what we can do, man. We gotta stop competing with each other. We gotta start helping each other, giving each other that push so we can make it to a better place. Cause when I get there, cause I know I'm going, I don't wanna be there alone, man. I wanna see everybody there. I want you all to ride with me. Yeah, that's what I want. That's truly what I believe. That's truly how I feel. So get with me, man. Positivity over negativity. June, 1203 MG. Let's ride. I just wanna see everyone getting paper, taking care of your neighbors, doing each other favors, I just wanna see everyone in the Benz, riding on chrome rims, no one beef when the family wins. I say no one beef when the family wins.
If you're an urban contemporary indie artist, then this is your platform. Send us clean versions of your music to balancingactradioshow@gmail.com. That's balancingactradioshow@gmail.com.
feelings I can't hide. I know this love is real, so baby, let me. Every day I keep feeling this way. What else can I say? What else can I say? Oh, I can't deny what I'm feeling inside. It's you in my life. I wanna keep you.
Want to get down with the Bars Revolution? We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Bars On Air.
I usually just come in rapping. I'm gonna get out this time. I just wanna be a young, and do young things, do young things, do young things. I'm just saying how I feel. If it's too taboo, middle finger to your face and mother you. I just wanna be a young, and do young things, do young things, do young things. I'm just keeping it real. You got a problem, how I feel. We can agree to disagree. Middle finger to your face if you don't. Young nigga syndrome. Word to Brandon from Addison. Oh man, it's been such a long time coming. Hooping as adults like we did when we were youngins. Real chill, cool out, drink a beer. This is how life's lived when you don't gotta care and you don't pay bills. I'm talking bullshit. I am in my backyard, sipping on the beer cause I'm feeling stressed out. Sure my homie's here cause he came from out of town. So we're laughing like kids while we're shooting around. But I don't escape the fact that I've been married 4 years and my wife's a handicap now. But I thought this happened further down. And this the very thing, so everything's becoming very painful. Everyday life's becoming a strain, so tango between my feelings obtained through living life how a married man can't do. You know, from thinking about the past, or thinking about the present. If I would never have met her, I know the thoughts of the flesh, plus I'm fighting battles with devils. Thinking this is so different from the life I thought I liked then. Damn, the devil's working, tell me how to ignore that he's clocked in. To be young again, young again, young again, young again, ooh, ooh. To be young again, young again, young again, young again, ooh, ooh. I just wanna do young things, do young things, do young things, ooh, ooh. Do young things, do young things, do young things, do young, ooh, ooh. I just wanna do young things, do young things, do young things, ooh, ooh. I just wanna be a young, and do young things, do young things, do young things. I'm just saying how I feel. If it's too taboo, middle finger to your face and mother you. I just wanna be a young, and do young things, do young things, do young things. I'm just keeping it real. You got a problem, how I feel. We can agree to disagree. Middle finger to your face if you don't. I'd be wrong if I was to keep this inside. You know, and act a fool on these feelings that I hide. I love my son, I love my wife, I love my life like anyone else. That's why I speak my pain through rhyme rather than hurt them. From keeping it bottled in, don't try to box me in. How you feel, everyone once was real until you get real with them. So I keep my feelings to myself, stated in my music till I'm through it, then I'm through with it. Back to the topic at hand, I get tired of being man. I remember when my worst fear was being on punishment. To be young again is something all adults live. I'm just not afraid to say it, young again too sensitive. Judge me if you like, I bet you play this song, we feel this way. I just wanna be a young, and do young things, do young things, do young things. I'm just saying how I feel. If it's too taboo, middle finger to your face and mother you. I just wanna be a young, and
Powered by GoWin.media.
Yeah. That was So Easy with To Be Young Again. Before that, we had The Silent Celeb with Kissing You. And starting off the set, we had June the Kid with Family Wins. Definitely want to shout out everybody watching on the live right now. Of course, the Mrs. You know what I'm saying, babe? I appreciate you every single week. Shout out my boy Mike. Miss Razzle Dazzle's in the building as always supporting. Become one of our strongest supporters. Shamika, what's going on? Neen of Let's Be Clear on every other Tuesday right here on WinDCRadio.com, 6 to 8 p.m. along with Becky. And shout out to the fellas of Mike's Corner, Mike, Will, Sko, Mr. Sean. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got to shout out my family right there. Let's see, who else? Calvin. Shout out Calvin. You know what I'm saying? He was saying he had a hard time. He actually has a radio show. I think it's Lush Vibes Radio, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely check him out. I think they're on Instagram at Lush Vibes Radio. So definitely check him out. That's a dope brother right there. I appreciate all the support. And also, let's see if there's anybody else I am missing. Oh, shout out Donnell Johnson. I saw you off the rip. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he makes sure that my levels are good. You know, I'm really a stickler for that when it comes down to it. So I appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate you tuning in. All right, without further ado, let's get to it.
Sometimes they're dope and sometimes they're duds. But no matter what, there's always five and it's always an off. Fake me out, expert opinion only. It's, hold on, mind if we use your acronym? We'll take that as a yes. It's T5DOA, only on Bars. Hey.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know what's about to go down, I think this is going to have to stretch across 2 segments before my special guest comes in for the day. That's how serious it is. So as many of you may or may not know, my favorite rapper, Sean Corey Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z. Before we even get into that, let me give y'all my qualifications why I'm qualified to talk about this. Yeah, I'm throwing it out there like that. So, I'm not one of these fans who's a stan. You know, like every time somebody drops something from somebody I like, they drop something, I'm like all over, like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. Because the thing is, I'm very fair-minded when it comes to it. And I'm one of those people that if somebody drops a dud, they drop a dud. Or if they don't drop the greatest verse ever, they don't drop the greatest verse ever. And, you know, I've been a Jay-Z fan since I first saw him on Dead Presidents. There's only really been 2 rappers that I can personally think of, like the moment that I heard them on a song or the moment that I may have seen them, heard them at the same time, I was like, whoa. Most times, like, I have to warm up to people, like certain people. And there's only been a handful of rappers for me like that. Jay-Z being one of those rappers. He's not the first, but he's one of them. And I knew from that moment on Dead Presidents, I was like, this guy's going to be special. And here we are. Man just turned 49 years old yesterday. And is still, if not the best rapper in the game, one of top 3. And it's hard, and I'm like, who can you really put ahead of him? I mean, I don't mean in terms of, oh, he's just a rapidy rap type person. I mean the whole package of what you want out of an MC. With that said, as great as I think Jay-Z is, I also think he drops duds. You know, I'm one of the type of people, I'm like, look, Volume 2 is probably the most overrated album, not only in his catalog, but one of the most overrated albums, period. I'm not a huge fan of Rock La Familia. Even though a lot of people say, oh, it's more like a Jay-Z, it's more like a Rockefeller compilation album. Jay-Z put his name on it as a Jay-Z album, so it counts as a Jay-Z album. Not a huge fan of it. Blueprint 2, if you take some songs out here and there, I feel like that could have been a much better album. Kingdom Come, I'm not a fan of Kingdom Come. Blueprint 3, I'm not a fan of Blueprint 3. And Magna Carta Holy Grail, it grew on me. But it's still, like, to me, it's not an essential Jay-Z album. So I say all that to say what I'm about to say, what I'm about to get into is not a biased Jay-Z fan opinion. Because the way that I see it, like, not all Jay-Z's features are like gonna knock you out the water. But this one, and we'll get to it in a second, this one is special. So let's talk about the song. You know I am, baby. You know I am. I'm gonna talk it. But let's get to the song. So the song, if you haven't heard it yet, is called What's Free. It's on Meek Mill's album called Championships. It came out on Friday. And the song features Rick Ross and Jay-Z. But let me say this. Although everybody's talking about Jay, let's not knock down what Rick Ross or Meek Mill did on the song. Because the song, let's just talk about the song, period. So they start off with a sample of the same sample that was in What's Beef from the Notorious B.I.G. from the Life After Death album. One of my favorite songs on that album. So as soon as you hear the sample, it's like, okay, I like where y'all are going with this. Then you hear Meek come in with the hook, clearly based off of What's Beef. It's like, okay, Meek, I see where you're going with it. So then Rick Ross comes in. Rick Ross, he flexes, and he actually says two lines that kind of got to me. So he says, walking the pavement, I pray I'm illuminated, over a decade and never nobody's favorite. And what's crazy, why that line hit me so hard was because a lot of people don't talk about how consistent, for the most part, Rick Ross is as an artist. But I never hear anybody say, oh, Rick Ross is my favorite rapper. I've never heard anybody say that. No matter how much we praise him for his songs, his albums, the production he gets, Rick Ross gets some of the best production out of any artist in hip hop. And he's been getting that since really 2006. Because if you count when he was working with the Runners, him working with Justice League, him working with countless other people who have just bink. Santorini Grease on Rather You Than Me. Good grief. It's just like, it's almost unfair that this dude gets such great beats. And I mean, he talks his stuff over him. But he's just not that guy that is like, oh my gosh, Rick Ross is my favorite rapper ever. Never hear anybody say that. So I kind of felt him on that moment. I was like, dang. It's messed up, although he has like such a solid catalog. But anyway, moving on. So Meek Mill, he comes in the second verse, and he's speaking his truth, his story, in a lot of spots in his verse. One of my favorite parts is when he says, you know, he's talking about standing before a judge, and he says, tell him how we funding all these kids to go to college. Tell them how we ceasing all these wars, stopping violence, trying to fix the system and the way they designed it. I think they want me silenced. And that's powerful, because in a lot of ways, when you are, now granted, you know, Meek has done a lot of dumb things. It's not all on the system, but it is part of the system when you really bust down a lot of things that happened in his last situation. And the thing is, Meek does have a voice. Meek does have a lot of moments where he speaks truth that a lot of people that have been in his particular shoes, his situations, young dudes that look like him, young people that look like him, come from the same streets he comes from. You know, it's hard to deny the fact that there is an agenda to lock a lot of us up. And what I appreciate about him in that moment is that he's saying, like, look, we're doing a lot of good things that don't get talked about, like funding kids to go to college, like trying to stop street wars and keep people from beefing. We're doing that. We're not looking for handouts. We're trying to do that. And while we're trying to do that, we have these forces working against us. So again, you know, Meek, he did his thing. But then Jay-Z comes in. Jay-Z. And he drops what I believe is not only his best feature in probably the last 10 years. You'd be hard pressed to find a better feature than this. But I also feel like he drops the rap verse of the year. That's just me. We'll get to that. Remember, there's a poll out. you haven't voted in the poll, it's on Facebook at Bars on Air. But let's get to this top 5. I had to break it down. I could have went bar for bar, but I wanted to break it down in terms of top 5 favorite moments in Jay-Z's verse. So, number 5, he says, in the land of the free where the blacks enslaved, 3/5 of a man, I believe that's the phrase. I'm 50% of Duce and it's debt free. 100% of Ace of Spades worth half a B. Rock Nation, half of that, that's my piece. 100% of title to bust it up with my G's. Since most of my won't ever work together, you run up a check but they never give you leverage. When you really get to the heart of that stretch, because that's how he opens up his verse. When you get to the heart of that stretch, there's so much that you can bust down. You think, I'm a math person. Numbers automatically like tickle my eardrum. So I'm hearing him break down these percentages contrasted with the whole 3/5 of man. That's 60%. So he's saying all these things like, okay, y'all said people like me when we got in this country, we were only 60%. We weren't even worth the same as livestock. Cows, sheep, horses, whatever. We weren't even worth the same as them. They were worth more than we were. Their lives were more valued than our lives were. Guess what? I'm going to take that back and I'm going to add all of these percentages here and there. 50% here, 100% there, 50% here, 100% there. And that's not even counting the fact that I'm 100% man, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm an employer, I am empowering people. You don't define my worth, I define my worth. You don't define my percentage, I define my percentage. That's OG knowledge, that's OG wisdom right there he dropping. Those are straight gems. You know what I'm saying? On a socio-political, socio-economic level, he's breaking it down saying, look here, America. You try to tell me what I was. I'm telling you who I am. And some people could look at it like, okay, well, he's just reeling off stats. He's just bragging. No, you got to dig beneath the surface with that. It's so much deeper than him just reeling off these percentages and numbers. It's him saying, there is power behind these numbers. I'm employing people. I'm employing people who look like me, who came from the same circumstances that I came from. And it's inspiring for anybody that's listening that, look, we need to work together in order to really have our own set of leverage, because they're not going to give us the leverage. They can give us the money and we can sit here on wax and brag, or we can just sit here, period. It doesn't even have to be wax. But we can sit here and talk about how much money we making, but how much leverage do we have when it comes to actually having power? And it's a matter of taking it into our own hands. To me, that's what he's saying in that particular verse. And really, when you think about it, it's the whole company man thing. Like when it comes down to saying you run up a check, but they'll never give you leverage. A lot of artists, yeah, you work for the company, yeah, they'll give you some crumbs. But there's another part of his verse that we're gonna get to after the break that connects right to that whole sentiment of, okay, running up a check, but you don't really have the leverage. And we'll get to the other 4 parts of Jay-Z's verse after the break. For the time being, we're gonna go ahead and get into this next song. This is Tease with Loved You, here on the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. This is Bars.
Because you lied, and I cried. Yes, I tried to give you everything you ever wanted, and all you did was push it and just run. So you gotta go get your bags and get your clothes. Gotta get your shit. It's already waiting at the door. You lost me and I've been loved you. And all the things you said were never true, yeah. You gotta go get your bags and get your clothes. Better get your shit. It's already waiting at the door. You lost me and I've been loved you. And all the things you said were never true, yeah. Two another, you're not my kind of brother. I never should have loved you. Such a shame. All you did was run a game. Now I'm sitting here crying about the same things. 'Cause you're so lame. Yes, you changed, and nothing ever will be the same. So go get your bags and get your clothes. Better get your things already in the door. You lost me and I've been loved you. And all the things you said were never true, yeah. You gotta go get your bags and get your clothes. Better get your things already waiting at the door. You lost me and I've been loved you. And all the things you said were never true,
You hear this spot right here? This could be your spot where you pull your new customer. If you're a nascent or established business or entrepreneur and you believe you have the right product for our audience, then advertise with Bars. For more details on our rates, packages, and deals for first-time clients, email balancingactradioshow@gmail.com. That's balancingactradioshow@gmail.com.
Sunrise, I'm too live, I'm too fly, I'm too God, I'm too divine and true to mine. Too refined, read through the lines, what you define. When I shine, you shine, we shine. I'm hot stepping, scream hotep, and I boast blessings. It's all love, I'm kings of thugs, God will judge. I'm a model of an anomaly, unbottled in full throttle, pedal to the metal till I'm boiling hot as a kettle. Made a solemn promise in my spirit, I never settle. Sing a song for the good times like Aaron Neville. They been longing for them good rhymes, I'm on the level. I've been on it till the morning, break of dawn, and I've been answering my calling, going all in for it all, and I will never stop. Give me my profit spiritually, I'm ballin', and lyrically I'm Jordan with a dose of Sebi, hot as a Serengeti. They ain't ready, it's getting kinda heavy. I'm feeling so amazing. Woke up, I'm so amazing. Stepped out, I'm so amazing. Too fresh, I'm so amazing. I'm feeling so amazing. Woke up, I'm so amazing. Stepped out, I'm so amazing. Too fresh, I'm so amazing. I'm so amazing. Too calculated for any equation. Too acclimated to any occasion. Too immune to all the term persuasions. Yeah, always I'm rocking out at my best. I guess I must confess, you too just to the contest. I've had pain way too long on my chest to ever think that I'm less than a cut above all the rest. Royalty in my blood, regality in my veins. Mad love in my heart and the joy that can be contained. Cause I'm always reminded, for what my eyes can't see, my third eye can never be blinded. When the devil's on the grind, Satan swine the sideline and undermine a God mind. I sit his ass out on the sidelines, cause I ain't got time. I'm Autobots prime, perceptive for Decepticons from upper echelon. I'm feeling so amazing. Woke up, I'm so amazing. Stepped out, I'm so amazing. Too fresh, I'm so amazing. I'm feeling so amazing. Woke up, I'm so amazing. Stepped out, I'm so amazing. Too fresh, I'm so amazing.
Whether you call yourself a beat maker or a producer, let's get those fire instrumentals some more burn. You could be featured during our segments as the next Bars Producer of the Week. Email at least 5 of your best beats to balancingactradioshow@gmail.com. That's balancingactradioshow@gmail.com.
Yes, Lord. Good Lord. Amen.
ADST.
Wake up in the automatic, get the dumping. Look at it, the cops, they all frontin'. Killing my people, but no such thing as a black man. Don't you understand that we trapped in someone's land? Trying to survive. We hung from trees cause of nappy hair and big lips. In the way, got girls so thick, now they gotta slide down poles, chasing and sucking. Or some up, we living life relentless. You can't even president this. The eye on the back of the dollar swallows the hollow. A youngest on double cup. Youngest get extra clips. I'm telling how to change up they, but they too concerned with their new whip and a brand new outfit. Speaking on the tone, all they wanna do is make another rap song. I'm gone. Good Lord. Whoever get tricked out my people in the industry, you know we ain't equal. They kill Hendrix, they kill Sammy, they kill Michael, they kill Prince. The evidence on the elevator. See you later. They get played like a pack of annihilators in the hood I'm from. Youngest bust big guns, but that happens everywhere. Chicago, New Jersey, Brick City, New York, and that's Harlem. Good Lord. Nobody hear the facts, they all sounding whack. How many futures we gonna hear on the track? It ain't no give it back. Turkeys don't do, especially when children they get hit by metal. Cause be beefing. You talking what it is, but the words that I'm speaking. Straight from Revelations, John, my man. You can say whatever, but we living here. Jail suits for troops, never over and on. Thinking it's all good, little shorty gone. Off the pills, off the search, trying to see if this automatic work. Pray from Lord, trying to see on the scene. Telling younger, you can achieve in your dreams. You know what it is, they kill their self-esteem. And this is what the world order means.
The thought of arrest.
Good Lord.
City. First they leave you in a corner with no option. Keep you sleeping, dreaming for hope, but call cops when standing up and calling for freedom, cause we's boxed. Then they paint you heathen, a demon, yeah, he's lost. Must be awesome. With his profit, couple jumps marked. Seen it like a vision, a reason, a street prophet. Then they think they push when they wanna. No, he's locked in. Panic, so they weeding me out, cause he's toxic. Yo, Black, let me breathe a little bit. Hold on. Let me take you back, begin again. I'm able to start to sin again. Like it when we weaken, we docile, effeminate. Do anything for Benjamin. Lie, cheat, kill a friend. Willie Lynch for the win. Y'all better learn to look at yourself and see purpose. See it's for the power we hold. He's so nervous. Love to say the land of some freedom until you stand on some freedom. And then they bring you a heathen. I give no rhyme or no reason, but yet my pride take a beating. They say we part of the problem. Well, I say part of the problem is looking harder tomorrow. When all you see is we suffer, we don't believe in each other. We start deceiving each other, but then we needed each other. Then we start keeping each other, then stop defeating each other. And then we breaking a pattern, then we start seeing an answer. Stop becoming a factor. And yo, the fact of the matter is that it really don't matter. But if we all moving separate, it's like the core of the cancer.
Good Lord. Amen.
Yes, sir.
It's time to get back to AJ Throwback and Bars, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Yeah, that was ADST Music featuring Black Indian and Jamel Mr. City with Good Lord from that Definition of Doubt album. Please make sure, if y'all haven't heard that album yet, check that out. Shout out my man ADST Music. Before that, we had Path P with Amazing, and starting off the set, we had Tease with Loved You.
It's time to get back to AJ Throwback and Bars, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
But yeah, let's continue with this whole Jay-Z conversation. So I had my number 5. moment in his verse from What's Free. Shout out also, I gotta make sure I shout out my cousin Tamara. Appreciate you tuning in. And anybody else who's peeked their head in, you know what I'm saying, please definitely, I thank everybody who's been listening and tuning in. So let's get to the number 4 moment in What's Free. So he says, look at my hair free, carefree, ain't near free. Enjoy your chains. What's your employer's name with the hairpiece? Let me tell you, when he said that, it's funny because it immediately took me back to when Jay-Z was in the Death of Auto-Tune video, DOA. And he was I felt like he wanted to grow his hair back then, but he didn't really do it. But now, like you see him, like you've seen him in the, what's that video? H with Beyonce. And he's letting his hair grow out a little more. Because to me, what it kind of represents is it's a certain liberation. And you think about corporate America or just working in the workforce period. And we as black people have been forced to wear our hair a certain way. When we're not the ones that are in control of the dollars. When we're not in control of the dollars, it's been so many times we've been in workplaces where we can't wear our braids. We can't wear cornrows. We can't wear dreadlocks. We can't wear anything that appears too ethnic. And, we get mad a lot of times because we can't do what we want. But when we don't own the place, unfortunately, a lot of times we have to abide by other people's rules. But with Jay saying, look at my hair free, carefree, ain't near free, enjoy your change with your employer's name with the hairpiece, it's saying, look, in order to get to the point where nobody can really tell you how to look, how to think, how to act, how to talk, how to move, until you get to that point where you own all of your own, then it's nothing really you can say. But nobody can say anything to Jay-Z at this point because it's like, hey, I own my own. Go back to the percentages. 50% Duce, 100% Ace of Spade, 50% Rock Nation, 100% Tidal. I own things. I'm a major investor in all of these different things. You can't tell me anything at this point. I'm not under your control. I'm not under your thumb. And that's the point that I think he wants a lot of other artists and people, period, to get to. And so that's why I feel like that particular part is so important. The number 3 moment that I would say, and all of this is really interconnected, and this goes back to the number 5 moment in What's Free. He says, and the people stole the soul and hit us with 360. I ain't got 1 billion streams, got $1 billion. Inflating numbers like we supposed to be happy about this. So, going back to the whole thing about 360 and stealing the soul, because really, the whole thing with 360s is trash. Because all it does is, record labels, they were losing money on a lot of artists because they weren't really making money off of album sales. Because album sales started suffering after a while, especially with piracy happening in the mid-2000s. And, all of this other stuff, like just the industry changing, going more to a digital age. So people weren't necessarily as invested in buying entire albums because a lot of times artists wouldn't even come out with entire albums that were worth buying. But because a lot of times you'd hear a couple of songs on an album and like those are the songs you want and they might not always be available as singles, you were forced to buy the whole album. And not to say that everybody was in that particular boat, but you just had a lot of people who were getting over on consumers by not putting out their best products. So combine that with just a changing economy, a changing environment, record labels were losing money. So they had to start getting money from artists in everything. If you sell clothes, or if you sell liquor, or if you on tour, or if you're whatever you are a part of, whatever your name is on, your brand is attached to, we want in. We get a piece of that. That's terrible because when you really think about it, you think about something just on the lines of tours. That's where most artists make their money, on tours. Like if all you are as an artist, if you don't have your hands in all of these different pots, you make the most of your money on tour. And so record labels was like, oh, we want that too. We want a piece of that pot too. We want a piece of that pot too. That's terrible, you know. And the industry will make it seem like, oh, we should be so focused on the numbers. Oh, such and such got 1 billion streams. Let's break that down for a second. You know what 1 billion streams equates to with Apple, with Spotify, with a lot of these streaming services? You know what that equates to? Anywhere between $7 to $15 million. That's it. $7 to $15 million. That's all you making if you get 1 billion streams. And I'm not saying that's chump change. That's a lot of money. But who's taking from that pot once you get that $7 to $15 million? That's the key thing. You'll make $15 million, maybe even more. But you got to get a record label some. You got to give your lawyer some. You got to give your accountant some. You got to give whoever else has your manager, whoever else has their hand in the pot. And then when you really break it down, what are you really left with? Whereas Jay-Z's like, look, I'm not just an artist. Yeah, I'm a dope rapper, but I got my hands in all of these different pots. And I'm a legit billionaire. Like, that's the point you want to get to. Again, ownership. He's been talking ownership for the longest time, but he really put it front and center on 444. So, the number 2 moment, when he says, we started without food in our mouth. They gave us pork and pig intestines. You discarded that we ingested. We made the project a wave. You came back, reinvested and gentrified it. Took the sense of pride. Now how's that free? And again, all of this is interconnected. You go back to the number 3 thing, which immediately follows these sets of lines. So I'm kind of going around the place, but it's a top 5 of like the moments that to me just jumped out the most. So you could obviously connect it to the American slavery narrative. That's cool. And I mean, it definitely is an alley-oop, or you're going to think about that. But another thing that I kind of looked at it was with hip hop. Because much like soul food, the culture was birthed out of the scraps the music industry didn't want. You think about turntables. You think about, as they call it, the get down part. If you ever watch the get down. The get down part in the record. The part that a lot of people won't necessarily look at as a part that it's like, okay, that's like the greatest part of the song. Whereas hip hop, like, that's the part of the song where our culture is, where we thrive at. Because it's our moment on these records to flex. If you're an MC, if you're a DJ, if you're a b-boy, no matter what it is, this is your time to do your thing. And so, once again, they didn't deem it worthy until we made it cool, until we made it a thing whereas everybody wanted a piece of it, and until they saw that it could be lucrative. And so, just like with slavery and turning food scraps into cuisine, we did the same thing with hip hop. We did the same thing with a lot of these neighborhoods. And when you think about the neighborhoods, because I mean, clearly it points to gentrification and reinvesting and taking things and replacing the culture altogether, which happens in hip hop, which in a lot of ways happens with soul food, and a lot of things that we are a part of, we get replaced for something better, something that costs more, something that put more, something that we were hoping would be, while we were still there, would be reinvested into. But that's not the case. Same thing with neighborhoods. We see it all across America in the inner city. That's what happens. So that's number 2. So my number 1 moment My number one moment, I think for a lot of people, this is the set of lines that jumped out. So he says, no red hat, don't Michael and Prince me, and yay. They separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA. I ain't one of these houses you bought. My house like a resort. My house bigger than yours. My spout, come on, man. My route better, of course. Like, there's so many reasons why for me, this is number one. First and foremost, it's Jay-Z like being Jay-Z, talking his smack. But it's like layered smack. It's not just what you see on the surface. There are layers to what he's saying. On one hand, some people, a lot of people say or felt like this may have been a slight towards Ye. But for me, it's really an indictment on the media, especially conservative media, and the Trump administration. Because what's funny, me and my boy Gladiator, we had a conversation about this. And he felt like the whole my house bigger than yours, my spouse, come on, man, my route better, of course, like all that. He felt like that was a shot at Ye. But I really bust that down like, that ain't a shot at Ye, that's a shot at Trump. Because Trump will talk big, tough Tony smack about all of these people. But he's really not, I mean, this is a man that's been bankrupt a whole bunch of times. So it's like, okay, you're not that great of a businessman as you like to portray yourself to be, number one. And not to say that Jay-Z's perfect. Jay-Z's had his bumps in the road. But Trump goes around acting like he is the smartest guy in the room. He's the best guy in the room, and he's really not. He's a bumbling idiot. And we all know it. But yet, he'll sit there and side with somebody like Kanye, but somebody like Jay-Z, who clearly was aligned with Obama when Obama was president. He'll take his little pot shots here and there, or throw shade, or he'll throw his subliminal shots, much like a rapper. But also, getting a little bit deeper than even that, let's dig just a smidge deeper. The whole thing about pitting the two strongest figures in black culture, or two of the strongest figures in black culture. You go back to the 80s. Yeah, they tried to put Michael versus Prince because they were the two biggest that we had to offer at that time. They were larger than life. And they made it a thing like, oh, well, you either be Team Michael, you Team Prince. And it's like, why can't I be both? And it's really the same thing even now, today, whether you talk about Jay-Z and Kanye, whether you talk about Beyonce, Rihanna, whether you talk about Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. I don't care who it is, or even like the woke crowd or woke music versus more mainstream music. It's always this thing where it's like, and we as black people are a huge amount of the problem when it comes to that we always feel like we have to pick a side. We play into it. The media could throw it out there, but we have to be smarter than that to say, look, they're both great at the same time for different reasons. Jay-Z is great for different reasons. Kanye, when he's not on his nonsense, is great for his own reasons. And they both are great at the same time. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm on this side, you're on that side, so I can't work with you. When I see people who are in media who work with both sides of the aisle, so to say, just think about politics, Democrats and Republicans, and get along with them and see points of view from both sides, then I think really the challenge in Jay saying what he's saying is, you can't put me against my brother. That's my brother. And he said it in tweets. He said it in other times. And him and Ye have had their beef. Or, like inner beef. And I won't even call it beef, but they're gripes with each other. But they're still brothers at the end of the day. Jay-Z will say that about Ye. Ye will say that about Jay-Z. And that's another thing, because it connects to the whole thing about most of us won't work together. Because of that, because a lot of us allow ourselves to be put against one another instead of working together. That's the only way, at the end of the day, that's the only way that we as black people are going to rise up and do all of what we need to do to be great. That's really what Jay-Z's saying at the end of the day. Whether you look at it from a financial perspective, social, political, no matter what it is, we have to stick together and we have to own our own worth. We have to determine our own value, not white mainstream society. It's up to us. I go back to what he said on No Hook, on American Gangster. Slaves, own your masters. You can decipher that whatever way you want to. That's really what he's saying at the end of the day. So, I mean, really, as far as I'm concerned, you want to make an argument for Rap Verse of the Year, I just made the argument in the top 5. But if you haven't voted yet, there's still a poll at Bars on Air on our Facebook page. Yes or no? Does Jay-Z have the Rap Verse of the Year? So, we're going to go ahead and get into the Fish Grease Pick of the Week. This is Kenilworth Katrina with Superbad. And after this, we're going to have a short, and I do mean short, commercial break. And we are going to have our special guest who is waiting in the lobby right now, Mrs. Carolyn Royal, Life Changes Changes Lives Incorporated. I'm going to be talking to her, so make sure y'all stay tuned to the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. This is Bars.
If somebody tell you he hot, man, you know everybody hot now, man, he fish grease.
That's how we feel about this track right here. This is the Fish Grease Pick of the Week, only on Bars, on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media.
Collins, I be on that super what? I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super blunt. I develop superpowers, call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1, you do for sure. Let's go, let's work. I think I'm Boosie Collins, I be on that super what? I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super blunt. I develop superpowers, we call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1, you do for some. Let's go, let's work. Just remember I said it. Anybody here can get it. I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super blunt. I develop superpowers, call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1, you do for some. Let's go, let's work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. You can come and get it right now. He make a move, then it's lights out. 300 like the movie. I swore it was a blackout. 12 I done maxed out. Grew up on the corner by crack houses. Made it out through the skin of my teeth. Time to ball Jerry Stackhouse. Northeast, we don't back out. 100 rounds blows back out. Y'all ain't really with. Let me get it for you, sis. Everybody got a team with them. I'ma get it, no assist. I'm coming for the win. Look at the flick of the wrist. Number 1 up on the list. Top 5 on the best. I came and ate off the game. Left cross for the rest. Ain't no one here to contest. Super bad, super fresh. Boozilla in the flesh. And you can tell by the gas. I think I'm Boosie Collins. I be on that super what? I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super blunt. I develop superpowers. Call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1. You do for some. Let's go, let's work. I think I'm Boosie Collins. I be on that super what? I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super. I develop superpowers. Call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1. You do for some. Let's go, let's work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. Work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. Work. Anyone here can get it. I think I'm Boosie Collins. I be on that super what? I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super. I develop superpowers. Call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1. You do for some. Let's go, let's work. Just remember I said it. Work. Anybody here can get it. I feel like I'm super bad. I hit me a super. I develop superpowers. We call that super funk. Come and get this 2 for 1. You do for some. Let's go, let's work.
More topics, more segments, more music means more bars. after this.
Win DC Radio brings to you the app. Yes, the app is now available on your Google Play and your App Store, on your iPhone or your Android, any of your pads that you might be using. Be it if it's an iPad, iPad mini, or if you have a Samsung Note, doesn't matter what you have, any mobile device, you can get the app so you can listen where you're at to Win DC Radio.
The Shops at Iverson is now undergoing a transformation, creating a mixed-use center where the community can come together to eat, shop, relax, and feel connected. The Shops at Iverson is a 600 KSF mixed-use property consisting of retail and office space now available. Located inside the Beltway on Branch Avenue, Maryland, just minutes from downtown D.C. It's an exciting time at the Shops at Iverson. Several beautiful renovation projects are ongoing, transforming the Shops at Iverson into the new safe community hub. DMV, get ready to enjoy the new food court. Opening late spring, early summer, featuring new restaurants like Chipotle, Quickway Hibachi, Tropical Smoothie, Wingstop, and free Wi-Fi. The Shops at Iverson, the original home of the world-famous Snickerdoodle cookies, is completing several cosmetic improvements to the mall interior, facade, and parking garage. The Shops at Iverson is the new home of Go Win Media, comprised of the DMV's premier internet radio stations, Go Radio Live and Win DC Radio. For updates and more details, check out shopiverson.com. That's shopiverson.com.
Foreplay the Orgasm Show. I am your host, Hot Toddy, along with the Turn Up team, Miss Lolly and Showtime. Foreplay the Orgasm Show is each and every Tuesday night from 8 to 10, bringing you the sexy slow jams with very adult interactive conversation, only on Win DC Radio.
Man, look, y'all already know what time it is. It's your boy, Gerard Street Garvey, and my DJ, Kid Cannon. And when we together, you know what it is. Grind Season Radio, each and every Wednesday from 8 to 10 on Win DC Radio. Don't forget it. Yeah.
We hope you didn't go too far. It's time for the second hour of the Balancing Act radio show, hosted by AJ Throwback, only on WinDCRadio.com and the WinDC Radio app, powered by GoWin.media. Whether they're artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, politicians, activists, or simply folks you need to know, we've got the line to the movers and shakers of DC, Maryland, Virginia, and beyond. This is 15 minutes of game on the Balancing Act radio show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and I am here with my very special guest this morning. This is family right here.
Yes.
This is Mrs. Carolyn Royal, a.k.a. Coolin'. Anybody who tunes into the live and they'll see me say, hey, Coolin'. That's what I used to call her when I couldn't pronounce her name when I was a kid. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
For having us.
Yes, absolutely. And we have to introduce, even though she doesn't really want to do much talking, Sonia.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Sonia Lewis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sonia Lewis.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the both of you to bars.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, let's get into it.
All right,
let's get
go.
into it. Yeah, but you know, you doing good. How
I'm
you
doing
feeling
good.
today?
I'm doing good.
Good.
A little nervous, but I'm good.
Hey, look, we family. You ain't got to be
I know,
nervous
right?
in front of me. Just act like they ain't even there. Okay. But so what I wanted to start off talking to you about.
Okay.
Before we get into your work with Life Changes Lives Inc., I wanted to talk about your one of the major components of what you do, and that is your faith.
Okay.
And you know, this is something I've always wanted to know. Like we'll get to your credentials as a minister in a second.
Okay.
But one of the things I wanted to know, and I've always wanted to know this, what was like that one moment, or if there was one moment, maybe it may have been a series of moments, where you were led to God and you decided to give your life to God and be saved?
That one moment is when I actually, on a Saturday night, was at my boyfriend's house.
Okay.
and it didn't feel the same anymore. It didn't feel the same. I wasn't fulfilled anymore. I still was missing something, and I felt like going from one relationship to another relationship, it didn't complete me anymore. So I remember at the time I kept getting invited to come to church, and I'm like, no, I'm not ready, and you gotta be right. The stigma today is you gotta be right before you go inside the church. Like you gonna be perfect. We never will be perfect.
Never.
And I remember that night. It was about 11 o'clock that night. I told him, I said, I want you to take me in the morning, take me to church. You're like, what? Take you to church? Yep, take me to church. I didn't get to church until 15 minutes before they closed the doors. Open the doors up to the church.
Wow.
And the last minutes of that pastor's sermon, it's like he was talking directly to me.
It always feels like that.
It's directly to me because I got there so late. But I was determined to get there. And I sat in the back, and my mom didn't even know I was there. I sat in the back, and he was like, there's one person, you've been searching for so long, and every door you go through is just not fulfilling. Try this door, because this is the only door that's going to lead you to the right path.
Yeah.
I got up and went down the front.
Yeah.
And my life has never been the same since.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Like that's, because of course, I've known you my whole life. And, like I remember when I started seeing that transformation with you. And, I've always, admired you for that. And I've always wanted to know, like what was that moment? Because I think everybody, like for some people, they'll call it their rock bottom moment. Where it's like, okay, there's got to be something better than this. There's got to be someone better than this.
Exactly.
There's got to be something higher, bigger than me. And so. Yeah, I was just curious, so I appreciate you sharing that moment. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
So, you have an extensive resume as as a student of the Word, as a minister. You did your studies, or did part of your studies at Reach Out for Life School of Ministry.
Yes.
And Disciple Institute School of Ministry as well.
Yes.
Is that right? And you also helped build and co-found Grace Christian Ministries.
Yes.
And you also the Minister of Education at Spirit of Peace Baptist Church.
Yes.
So out of all of these experiences that you've had, what has been one of the most significant things you've learned about yourself through your ministry, and how God has particularly gifted you to lead?
One thing I learned, that you gonna need God no matter what. You can have all the titles, you can have all the accolades from people, but when you look in that mirror and you still see that imperfect self of you, it's only but God can change you. And I thank God for the ministry that He has taken me through and the journey that I'm going through. But even now, I think the most pivotal point that I can honestly say that's about ministry is helping people.
Yeah.
It's being honest, fully honest. It's being about being open. It's about being, just let your life be in an open book and let them see, okay, you're not perfect. The position is perfect. The office is perfect. God Himself is perfect, but you're not perfect. So it's an imperfect person walking into a perfect institution. And when I look at myself, I'm like, all these flaws and everything that I have, it's still a learning concept. And even that being a minister of the gospel, we still learning.
Yeah.
You still learning, but one thing you can't take away from me is my love for God.
I hear that.
So that's what keeps me growing and being honest and open. This is where I'm at. Yeah, I feel like sometimes the chiefest of sinners of David, like David said, I'm the chief of sinners.
Yeah.
But my heart is pure, and I'm going to get there.
There you go. Amen. Amen to that. Yeah. So let's talk about your work with Life Changers, Changes Lives, Inc. The nonprofit organization you established a little over 4 years ago, was?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and it's geared toward healing victims and survivors of various forms of abuse.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, you were quoted in your bio as saying, "The very act that almost cost me my life saved my life."
Yes.
Now, while you don't have to go into details about the specific act unless you want to.
Okay.
But elaborate a little bit on that, like how something that was life-threatening ended up being something that was a huge amount of your saving grace, so to say, and why it's significant toward what you do in terms of being relatable to people. Because a lot of times you have people in certain positions who try to minister to people, but they can't relate to their circumstances, or they don't.
Exactly.
They never went through it. So just talk about, you know, that particular quote and how it's significant toward that arm of your ministry.
Okay. What part of what saved my life, I literally crawled out the door.
Wow. Of
someone that I dated for some years, whom I thought I was in love with, whom I thought that loved me. Stayed in a relationship that was very abusive, that was very toxic, and literally almost took my life.
Wow.
On that particular night, he literally beat me so severely that it hospitalized me for 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
And I want to say more than that, probably about a month, but even in the pain, just the endurance was long enough. But in that time, in that moment, after he beat me, he attempted to rape me until someone intervened.
Okay.
And at that point, the person that intervened was like, if you can get out the house, someone's going to be waiting for you outside downstairs. Because I knew the dynamics of the house, but even when you so beaten, you're so lethargic, you don't remember too much of anything.
Right.
So I had to literally couldn't see anything. My eyes was bloodshot red. They were swollen. I couldn't see. Every time I crawl or move, I could feel the bones cracking. So it's like trying to get out of the house, and I'm feeling for something familiar to me to get me out this house.
Yeah.
While the whole time I'm hearing him in the background saying, I'm a killer.
Wow.
Get off of me. He's screaming, I'm a killer. She's going to walk out here in a body bag. So you can't imagine the state I'm in. I'm already broken. And the fact that I can hear him saying he's going to kill me, trying to get away from the person that was intervening.
Yeah.
And I literally crawled out. I fell for the door. The door was cracked. Crawled out the door. They lived on the 3rd floor. And I literally fell down 3 flights of steps.
Wow.
Well, tumble. I rolled over 3 flights of steps, and someone was at the bottom of the step waiting for me. And put me in the truck and took me to the hospital. And I stayed there from, I want to say at least a month, because I had a fractured ribs. My mouth had to be wired, busted lips, and everything else, you name it, I had.
Wow.
So the very thing that broke me saved my life, because I never went back.
Yeah.
I never went back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how, talk about that experience in terms of, life changes lives. How, when you, because I don't, explain a little bit more in terms of what life changes lives does.
Okay.
And then your role. Are there moments when there may be these sessions with people who have been through abuse? Are there sessions where you may come in and you may talk about your story in order to really minister to people in where they are, to help them out of where they are?
Yes. So it's amazing because you find your mission has been there from the beginning and you don't realize it. Coming out that situation and not realizing that I was helping someone else in the midst of it, kind of now made me feel like, wow, I've been on this path long before even Christ called my name to even come to him.
Yeah.
Or me hearing his name.
Yeah.
So let me say this. After this situation happened, 2 months later, the girlfriend that he was dating at the time ended up coming up to my house. And he was actually doing her the same way he was doing me, if not even more worse. And at the time, she came up there because the stigma was, I was the perfect one. I'm the one he was supposed to marry. I'm the one who was supposed to bear his kids. And his family loved me. Why is it that me and him still not together? I told her what happened. And you could see the fear in her eyes because she then revealed to me he was actually beating her because she wasn't me.
Wow.
All this is in my book because it's amazing when I look back on my life. I'm like, I really went through some things to get to this point.
Yeah.
He was actually beating her because she wasn't me.
Wow.
He actually was tearing her down and saying words to her because she wasn't me. So every angry or every anguish, every hurt, every frustration that he had because I left him, he was taking it out on her. So she would walk into the room and it's nothing but pictures of me and him in a room together. And she attempted to take them down one day, and he not only beat her for taking them down, but he made her put them back up.
Wow.
So she was fearful. I literally looked in her eyes and told her to leave. Because although I was able to crawl out the door, this time he may be coming, you might be the one in the body bag that's going out the door. And I even opened up my mom's home for her to stay if she needed somewhere to stay. Only to find out later on, I would say within 48 hours, she left him. She ended up getting her life together. She ended up getting her daughter back, custody back of her daughter, and she never turned back.
That's good.
So it was then I was changing someone else's life. So how life changes came around, it's changing, it's making an impact. It's making a difference because if my life was changed, now I'm extending a hand out to other people who's in that same situation to change their life.
Yeah.
So that's how life changers came around.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times, you know, we go through certain things in life and we wonder why we have to be the person to go through it.
Exactly.
But it ends up being a testimony to be able to heal other people.
Your trials becomes your testimony.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even realize it, even at that time, even not even accepting the call of God in my life. Just know that he was there already.
Right.
He mapped out the plan.
Right.
He had my steps already ordered. It took a tragic situation to open my eyes up to see it was something better for me. And he wasn't that equator. That abuser was not in the equator or was better for me.
Right.
And I had to realize that for myself.
Yeah.
I had to realize that it was something greater in me that deserved a lot more better than someone slapping on me or someone punching on me or someone saying negative things about me.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in yourself, then everything else, you go look to something or someone else to make you believe in yourself.
Right.
I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Changing someone else's life.
I hear that. So what are the steps that Life Changers changes lives? What are the steps that you all employ to help people that have been in those situations?
Honesty. Most people the first step I have learned, just talking to other individuals. I have been many conferences. I have sat on many platforms. I have sat in intimate settings with people and have learned some people don't want to be open. They want the information, but they don't want to give the information up to being that open door. They want to keep that private. Say, this is my business. This is what, I don't want everybody in my business.
Right.
But the business is an open book. And at this point, I have been sat on platforms and I wanted to be honest. And one day that door opened where I sat on a platform as a guest speaker to tell my story. And I was able to tell my story.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, wow, I can really do this.
Yeah.
And one night, I'm kid you not, I was laying in the bed and I knew I had this vision. I knew what I wanted to do. Didn't know what to call it. I came up with all different kind of names.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't feeling right. I lay down, went to sleep, and literally it felt like God told me in the dream, life changers changes lives. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Within a week, I had it incorporated.
Wow.
1 week.
That's
Because
really
I was
good.
like, I literally written my bylaws up within 24 hours. Because by this time I'm on the computer. When something is in you and you giving birth to it, it's like I can speak it in my sleep.
Yeah.
And I wrote up my bylaws. I wrote up what I needed to write up for the state and walked my paperwork through up at the state. Sat there for hours and told them I needed this done right now. And had it done in a week.
That's amazing.
Had it done in a week.
Yeah. So here's something I wanted to ask you about.
Sure.
And it could be as part of your work with Life Changes Lives, but I know you also you volunteered a lot of hours at PG Hospital.
Yes.
And you've seen a lot of different victims of abuse.
Yes.
Women, children, and also men. And
Yes.
that's something I wanted to ask you about, because a lot of times when we talk about abuse, whether it's sexual abuse, physical violence, whatever it may be, a lot of times it automatically goes to women and children.
Right.
But men aren't talked about as much because a lot of times they're the ones that are the aggressors in the situation.
True.
So, like, how often have you seen men as victims in your experience, particularly in your working with your organization, of either domestic violence or sexual assault? And how do those types of abuse seem to affect men differently than women and children, from what you've seen?
I have seen many, in both facets. I have spoke with men or even performed rape kits on men that has been sexually assaulted. You don't hear about it, again, because it's so prevalent around women and children, like you said.
Right.
I have been in the same room with men that has been or being abused by women. You don't hear about it because it's not prevalent. Because one thing you know about a man, the stigma is he's a man, you don't allow no woman put their hands on you.
Right.
Then you got another stigma that's out there. You question his manhood if you allow a woman to beat on you.
Yeah.
Not understanding you have some really men that has been raised, you don't put your hands on a woman.
Right.
And you have a lot of good men out there who would be ready to walk out the door before they either put their hands on a woman or they put a woman to put their hands on them. But you really have a lot of women out here these days that's very abusive to a man. But where do they go?
Right.
Who's gonna help them?
Right.
First of all, who's gonna believe them?
Right.
You can't go to your buddy or your homeboy and say, "Hey, my woman at home is beating on me." Where do you go?
Yeah.
My very first case, and I can't really talk about it.
Of course.
But my very first case was actually a male.
Wow.
That has been victimized in the most tragic of ways.
Wow.
So can you imagine my state of mind when I got the call and I'm on my way there? What do I say to him?
Yeah.
What do I say to this male to get him out that mind frame? This is not his fault. We so accustomed to counsel women.
Yeah.
And that come easy to me. I can sit with another woman and can talk her down out of some things. But when you sit in front of a man and then you had to look into his eyes and say, it's not your fault, what do you really, does that comfort him? And only to find out that I had to realize, what would I say to my nephew? What would I say to my son? What would I say to my cousin? I had to make it more personal, bring him more personal to me, and a concept that with the same thing you would say to them, say to him. Same thing you would say to another woman, say to him. And the fact was, it's not your fault. And he was broken. He was really broken.
Wow.
But yes, I have counseled many and I have seen many.
Yeah.
Of all ages.
Yeah.
Of all ages.
Yeah. That's, like I said, I mean, that's not something, and like you said, that's not something that you hear about frequently.
Never.
Because it's always, women and children, and it's not casting aspersions or anything like that, but it's just saying, like you said, like just saying, or uncovering the societal expectations of manhood and masculinity.
Yes.
Yes. Like these different definitions and how it makes it harder for a man to speak up in those particular situations, because it's like you said, where does he go?
Exactly.
Who is his defense?
Exactly.
So.
Or they have support groups. You can go to an AA meeting, and it's okay for men to sit around and talk about they have a drinking problem, or they can go to a methadone clinic or a support group for those that's on drugs for men to support them. You don't have a support group for men where they can go to that's been raped.
Right.
You don't have support groups for men that's been victimized or just been in an abusive situation. Majority of our shelters now is for women to come out of an abusive situation from a man. We don't have shelters for a man to come out of a situation from a woman.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's one-sided, and it makes your work a little bit more harder and challenging to try to make a difference in someone else's life.
Right.
Life changes is not about women. It's not about or just geared to women. Life changes is what it is. It's to change or make a difference in someone's life, whether you male or female.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah. I'm glad that your organization is covering all across the board.
Yes.
Because sometimes you do have organizations that focus a little bit more on women or focus a little bit more on children. And, it's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that you all focus on everybody, you know, who's a victim, that's important, because people need that safe haven to go to.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
So one of the last things I wanted to ask you about, you talked about this book.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about this book.
Yes, and this is where Sonya comes in there.
Okay, all right. So Sonya's being shy, ladies and gentlemen.
So let me tell you about the book. The book is titled I Choose Me.
Okay.
And it's geared towards, well, not, I wouldn't say geared, it's about my life. It's an open book. The good, the bad, and the ugly of things about my life. I found myself looking at my life like a caterpillar and how it's not pleasing, it's very ugly in some things and details of some things, but that caterpillar eventually turns into a butterfly. And I feel like I'm soaring now.
Yeah.
So the book is actually talking about my life, and it's talking about how I had to come and choose myself. Yeah. I have taken so many chances and so many things and so many people. I have taken chances on relationships. I tried to find my identity in people. I tried to find my identity in things, and not realizing I need to find out who I am outside of that. Yeah. I needed to be stripped from everything that was toxic to me. Because relationship, if you pin your identity on a relationship, once that relationship fails, then you feel like part of you is gone with that relationship. Yeah. And then you go to a new relationship. Then whatever they like about you or don't like about you, you kind of conform yourself into that relationship. I found myself being molded and shaped into all these different things that when it was stripped from me, I was like, who am I? Who am I really? You know, now let me take a chance on me. Yeah. I have 3 wonderful daughters that I have raised up, and I even had to be formed into and shaped into a mother before I even knew who I was as a woman. You know, so I'm like, I became someone's wife before I became even an adult. So I was like, I need to now take this time and find out who I am. Yeah. You know, let me take the risk on me. I took a risk on everybody else. Now the existence of me, I need to take this risk on me. In doing so, meeting Sonya, or reconnecting back with Sonya, let me say, we talked one day. And it was just so amazingly, it's like a light bulb clicked off in front for both of us. And Russell in the background, like, wow, you know, because it's like, I mentioned that I had a platform one day about a mirror. And I had this mirror, for whatever reason, I ran out the house, said, let me go back and get this mirror. Yeah. When I got the mirror, came in, had a lot of groups of women there of all kind of caliber of ages, statues or whatever. And I told them to look in the mirror at themselves. Tell me what you see. And to get the response back from people, like they really didn't want to look in this mirror. Wow. That was me. Yeah. Because I shaped myself. If I felt like somebody didn't think I was pretty enough, I would find ways to become pretty. You know, didn't really like makeup, so I would try to put on a little makeup to try and find ways to be pretty. Someone said my hair wasn't long enough. You got all kind of inch tracks out now. Right.
You know? Little yacky in your life.
Exactly. You want straight one day, you wear straight. Right, you want kinky one day, go get kinky, you know. So I became all these different forms. You know, if someone didn't think I was skinny enough, I stopped eating. Not realizing that's toxic. Because one or two things going to happen. When you do eat, it's going to turn into fat. Right. Or you will get anorexic and you're just going to be too skinny. So then I was like, I became all these things to all these people. Yeah. Then I looked in the mirror at myself. I couldn't even identify myself. I didn't even want to look in the mirror at myself. So talking to Sonya, I was like, hey, one day I just had this mirror, and she just started screaming on the phone. She said, because that's where I'm at. I'm going to write a book about looking in the mirror. And I was like, wow. We stayed, what was supposed to be 10 minutes on the phone? We was on the phone for at least 3 hours. Okay. It was endless. Yeah. JoJo.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting the whole time. I was waiting for the JoJo.
JoJo, it was so breathtaking. Yeah. Because we were like, God is going to do something here. And ever since then, I'm like, Sonya, what's great happened? We gonna go through this door together. It's endless because you talking about the mirror. I'm talking about choosing me that's looking in the mirror. Oh, wow. I'm really excited about this book.
Yeah.
I got a release date. It's supposed to come out now. It's supposed to come out in March, but now I got a new release date. It's supposed to come out in June.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready. It's
Amazing.
open. It's raw. But I'm coming from a healed place.
Yeah.
I'm not coming from a hurt place. I didn't write from a hurt place. But it's not my truth, but it's the truth. And there's a difference. My truth can be how I feel about the situation, but not always the truth. So now I'm coming from the truth, and it's raw. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
So that's where we at.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
That chosen one.
All right.
Yes. Sonya going with me. we're going to bust these scenes out together. It's I learned it's too many people hurting in silence.
That's true.
It's so many people hurting in silence, whether they're male or female. They're hurting in silence, and they're waiting for someone to come out the doors and say, hey, this is me. I was once you.
Yeah.
I was once there. I know what it's like to be abused. I know what it's like to be raped. I know what it's like for rejection. I know what it's like to not like yourself.
Right.
I know what it's like to be in a marriage that failed. I know what it's like to be in a second marriage that's challenging. I know what it's like. Yeah. So now you got somebody that's sitting there saying, wow, somebody in the same situation that I am. Yeah. I know what it's like to have thoughts of trying to commit suicide. I tried it.
Wow.
And escaped death. So I'm like, God got something better for me.
Yeah.
He has something better for me. And it's in the book. I'm raw. I tried. I literally tried to take my own life because I didn't think my life was worth living.
Wow.
I didn't think my kids deserve a mother like me. They deserve something better than me. I didn't think at the time my ex-husband liked me because that's the reason why he divorced. He wanted to divorce. I had the luxury of things. I had the Lexus. I had the Benz. I had the high-profile cars. You remember, I had the Range Rovers. You can have all those things, but if you don't like you, you don't accept you, it's nothing. I'm walking around with $3,000, $4,000 in my pocket a week. My ex-husband paying all the bills.
Wow.
Didn't have a care in the world, so people thought. But then when I looked in the mirror, didn't like me, money couldn't buy me happiness. Money couldn't buy me peace. The cars couldn't give me peace.
Right.
Right. I had the lavish of clothes. My kids was good. I had the fairy tale life. I was that Cinderella that was still looking for her dream man to escape from someone.
Wow.
And we always look to that man or look to that woman to build us up or to solidify how we really are. Yeah. But if I don't believe it, if I don't like myself, if I don't accept myself, no matter who rejects me, if I don't accept that person that's looking in that mirror, it's already over.
That's it right there.
So now I'm coming back from one step, a person that was dead but yet still living. I had a dead thought of thinking. Was nice. When you see a person that's bitter, angry all the time, always have something negative to say, have something negative about people, that's because they don't like themselves. So now I was that person. I didn't think my heart was pure because every time something happened, I was told I had a wicked heart. So now I became formed to those type of things.
Yeah.
Now I'm coming back and say, hey, I was there. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm ready to go through them doors. Is everything going right in my life? No. But is everything going good in my spirit? Yes.
Yeah.
Because what once broke me, tried to kill me, now I'm coming back alive.
What's going on? How you feeling?
Cool, man. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, absolutely.
Help yourself.
It's the man, Mr. Sean, from Mike's Corner.
Yes, yeah.
Came in, sit with us, kick it with
We
us.
on. Yeah. I just thought I'd come through and say what's up. I told you last night. I said I'm going to kick through there real quick and see what's going on with him.
Yeah.
We always throwing a shouts out to you and everything on our show. And I say I hear the music from time to time. I said let me go ahead and show a face today since they gave us the day off.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to slide through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's we do have two shows. I'm on pretty much Mike's Corner, and also co-host with the ladies of Let's Be Clear.
Okay.
So we do our thing,
Yeah.
We just trying to make a little bit of noise, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what y'all talking about today? I don't want to just jump in.
we have a great conversation right now. This is actually my cousin right here. She's founder of Life Changes Lives Inc. and also she's putting out a book next June called I Choose Me. And so that's what she was just talking about. She was talking about her book.
Oh yeah, I'm all ears. I thought we was gonna be doing music, but we can do it all.
Yeah. Well, you missed the Jay-Z conversation earlier.
Jay, my man. Jay is my man. Happy birthday to him. That's my guy.
Yeah, that's right. So why don't you let everybody know where you can, where people can connect with you, where they can, the website.
Okay.
And then where they can connect with you on social media.
Right. The website is www.lifeccl.org, and they can link into Facebook. I don't really have an Instagram account. I do, but really don't, because I don't go on Instagram that much.
Gotta get on the gram.
I know.
You know what? You're lucky you're not on my show, because I would say a fumble, because she said Instagram. she didn't even say the gram.
Sean will point out a fumble in a minute.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. I don't have an Instagram account, Sean. So I'm not really on there.
Okay.
I'm mostly on Facebook.
Okay.
But you can reach me through there. There's a link as well on my website that directly links to me.
Okay.
The website, I gave the website. The email is lifechangerslives@gmail.com.
All right.
So they're more than welcome to get in contact with me.
All right. Awesome.
Any questions, any concerns, I will say this, everything that shares with me stays with me.
Yeah.
For the most part. I am connected with shelters. I have resources where I can get someone in a shelter. I have resources where I can get someone in a safe haven place.
Awesome.
If they're in a place, in a situation that they need to get out.
Okay.
I do have resources for that. I am connected with agents as well. So there's help.
Okay.
There's help. There's also a rebuilding process that's coming up, meaning sometimes most people don't leave an abusive situation for various reasons, and one of them is they're afraid of that words that's been told to them. I told you so. So it's like to try to reach out for help, and sometimes we find ourselves telling people, the first thing we say, I told you so.
Yeah.
I told you should have left that person. I told you they was bad for you. I told you they would do this. And that sometimes is the worst thing you can tell a victim or someone that's in that situation. Yeah. I told you so.
Yeah.
So, but now if I can tell anyone, the very first thing to making that decision, to walking out that door, is looking in the mirror at yourself and say, do I really like what I'm really seeing right now? If you have to put on makeup to cover up that bruise, how much more makeup can we buy to keep covering up bruises?
Yeah.
There's not enough makeup out in the world to cover up bruises. What can you cover up a broken heart? What can you cover up a broken spirit?
Right.
Because the next ultimate thing is you go try to take your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I can stand, if you want to call me and I can be outside with the car door open and you ready to leave all the stuff behind. Leave the clothes. You can get clothes back.
Yeah.
Leave the money. Don't worry about the money, because that's another thing someone will tell you. I got the money. Where you gonna go? You can't make it without me. Leave.
Yeah.
I show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
All I want you to do is just to get in the car, and we'll take it from there.
Amazing. So you want to say anything?
Yes.
Not one
I want
word?
Sonya to talk about her. Sonya is writing a book also.
Oh.
Yes. She's
one of the things I am going to say to reiterate on what Carolyn said. Like she said, we was talking, and I had met Carolyn years and years ago, and it was just in, I was in the kids with the car, and she saw my husband, and they were talking, and I was just like, hey, but I don't know how that day that she referenced came about, but Russell and I were in their house, and Carolyn maybe posted something on Facebook. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I think
about your nephew. He was doing
hair.
hair.
Yeah, he was doing hair. And my husband said, "Oh, that's our nephew." And she was like, "For real?" And I said, "Yeah, that really is my brother's son."
Yeah.
And then we got to talking, and she mentioned something. And I remember I was going through a storm. And I walked by the mirror, and it was during a time in my life where I had lost so much weight. I had went from like almost 200 pounds down to 130 overnight.
Wow.
And I walked by the mirror. I didn't even like seeing myself in the mirror because all I saw was like bones. And I couldn't even walk by. And then when I started coming out the storm, and one day I just happened to walk by the mirror, and I saw my new self. And I saw a new Sonya. It wasn't the Sonya that was before the storm. It wasn't the Sonya that was during the storm, but it was the Sonya, the new Sonya that had just came out, rebirthed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like the testimony after the storm, and that's when I saw my new self. And I had shared that with Carolyn, and that's when she was like, "Sonya, that's what I'm talking about."
Yeah.
And from that day, it was like a friendship that birthed out of that one conversation.
Yes.
So you may not see the light right now. You may not see what you want to see in that mirror.
Yes.
But you will see a new self.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody this morning, and I said a lot of people walk around with this heaviness that they
Yes.
don't see.
Yes.
But I said I use the example. A lot of women walk around, they put their makeup on, and they don't see. And if that person never looks in the mirror to see they have lipstick on their teeth, how are they gonna know?
Yeah.
If they don't have someone there to tell them you have that issue. So a lot of times you don't want to see the issue because you don't want to look in the mirror. But at some point you see your mirror, you take a look, and you reevaluate your situation.
Yeah.
You fix that thing up, and then you walk by not thinking that, oh, I'm going to see a new self. But you walk by and you say, oh my God, she is beautiful.
Yes.
Now I see what people saw all them years ago that I didn't see in myself. So you can see your new self.
Wow.
You can.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's deep. That's,
Yes.
That is.
For someone who didn't want to talk.
Oh yeah, she kept going. She didn't want to give the microphone back.
But I'm
Powerful.
glad that you
Yes.
did speak.
Yes.
I really am.
It's
I really
in her.
am. Yeah.
And I heard it.
Yeah.
And I told her when we talked, I said, Sonya, we on this journey together.
Yeah.
Because it's that new self. I have so many people, and I don't want to be offensive. I don't want someone to take offensively. But I had to learn, no matter how much makeup you put on, how much it try to make you look like a different person, you got to take that makeup off.
Yeah.
That's their disguise when they just want to disguise everything that's really going on at home, so they won't let everybody out there know what's really going on.
Exactly.
And like we said last night, a lot of people walk around with an armor on.
Yes.
And the thing is, your armor can be a couple different things. Their armor is their makeup. So as long as they have that makeup on, they feel as though I'm protected.
Exactly.
I feel good about myself because I have makeup on. And like you said, once you take that makeup off, that's when she go back down to zero.
Exactly.
She's not liking who she's seeing when she's without the makeup, but the makeup builds her confidence up. But then, as you say, you got to have confidence in yourself for one. You got to be able to love yourself before you can really love somebody else. And if you're in a situation that's not fitting for you, or if it's something that it's not healthy for you, meaning physically, mentally, verbally, you do have to really get to that point where you want to say, I'm done with it.
I'm done.
And once you really achieve that and you can say, I'm done, then the next step is a day-to-day process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you got verbal abuse, you got physical, you got mental. A lot of women and men stay in because they scared to take that step. They scared to see what's going to happen on outside of that door when I leave.
Exactly.
Is he or she will come after me, whatever, this and that. But then they got to realize they got to do what Tina Turner did. She just rolled out and just went and said, all I want is my name back.
That's right.
But, like you said, makeup can't cover a broken heart.
It can't. Yeah. And you hit on something. It's more fear of the unknown. What's going to happen to me once I leave?
Yeah.
Because when you in an abusive situation, no matter what facet it is, it's the fear of what's going to happen when you've been told you're not going to make it without me.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? You can't, who will like you? Who will love you? Look at you. Nobody loves you but me. So it's that fear of the unknown going out there into a world that you've been shut from for so long.
Right.
That now, oh, you want me to go back out here with a black eye, a broken heart, no job, nowhere to go, nowhere to live. Where do I go?
Yeah.
That's the fear of the unknown. And I'm telling you, whoever may be listening, you can make it.
Yeah.
I made it, you can make it. And that's where we at.
All right.
Life changes, go changes someone's life.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm sure it already has.
Yeah. I can contest to that.
So I appreciate both of you.
I appreciate you.
Sonya. You know,
JoJo.
Sonya talking. Love.
It's more inner than I'm waiting for her book. I'm waiting for hers.
Yeah.
It's more inner than what you see right now.
Yeah. Do you have a title for your book yet, Sonya? Hush. Mama's the word. Okay.
You have to sign disclaimer.
right. Somewhere in Fort Knox, somewhere in a vault.
I can't tell you nothing right now.
right. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to kill you. Well, I appreciate the both of you coming here on Bars. You know what I'm saying, and sharing your stories, and definitely will be supporting the both of you. Just keep me posted, and that's all I do on Instagram and Facebook, all that. Just post.
Yeah. I can say he heavy on that because, a lot of times I don't get to listen because I'm at work.
Right.
And it's from 11 to 1, so sometimes I might try to listen this and that, but then feeding off my co-host, and they say it's a real good show, he's a real good dude, and I honor that. And like I said last night, why not? I just want to kick the door in for a few minutes. I said I'm gonna go show him some love. First time meeting him in person, so it's not like I've met him before now.
Right.
Really?
Right. This is the first time we've ever met. Yeah.
It's just I try to do that. If I say I'm gonna do something, I give you a little bit of time and just do it. In between whatever I gotta do.
Yeah.
Mike was gonna come, but he got the MRI, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That's,
but it's family here. You know what I'm saying? When DC, like the shows, especially the ones who support each other, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, this is our first time meeting in person, but I feel like he's family already because I watch this show every week, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of ties into what you all were talking about in terms of the road together.
Right.
Like it's the
support.
whole iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Thing. Like you have to support one another.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's in writing or whether it's in an organization or whether it's on radio.
Yes.
That's a huge amount of reason why I even created this platform right here, to showcase moments like that,
And if people can see that everyone has something that I need or what you need, you can't beat that.
Right.
I'm not in competition.
There you go.
I just want your gift.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I need you.
Right.
It may be something you can do better than I can.
Mm-hmm.
I need you.
Yeah.
So that iron sharpen iron, that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
It's like wherever you can make my life better and I can make your life better, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't look at it like that these days.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Support is the key.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they support who they want to support.
Right.
That's true too.
Right.
It's one thing you can support, but you gotta be supportive.
Mm-hmm.
That's true too.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't know the difference.
Yeah,
that's
they
true.
don't. They don't.
This was good.
Yes, indeed.
This was good, JoJo.
Thank you, Coolin.
Thank you. It was good, JoJo. It was good. In my closing, I would say this.
Okay.
To you, in honor to you.
Okay.
And your mom.
All right.
Because the dynamics of our family, you probably was the first person that God trusted me with someone's life.
Wow.
Because your mom and dad, let me say that if he's watching, trusted me with him. And we was young. And I was at a very young age. But to have to mold you and to shape you into part of the man that you are, my path and my journey started even at a young age. And to know that, wow, look at us now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at us now. It's awesome.
It is.
It's just so awesome because just to look at how you imparted into my life, just to looking at you and how you just like, you can do this. We got this together.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really awesome.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact, and I'm gonna use the word hate, that so many families are divided and so many people are divided that when you don't see the bigger picture outside of us and the awesomeness of what we can do together, it outweighs hate.
Yeah, it does.
Love always beats out hate.
Yeah.
So I just thank God for you.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
He's an awesome man. He's an awesome husband. He's an awesome father and the best cousin and brother that woman could ever have.
Oh,
thank you, JoJo.
Thank you, cool man.
You're about to start crying.
right.
Tear jerkers.
Look, I'm trying to keep the thug tears right here.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, and I like I said toward the beginning of the interview, like I have always admired you. I've always looked up to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you was a little hard on me when I was a kid. You know what I mean? But I'm glad you were, because frankly, like you helped to toughen me up, and you know, just help to make me into a man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you've always been a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at you, cousin, big sister, all of that. Yes. You know, and you know, I'm proud of all of the things that God is doing in your life. You know, as a minister, as a leader, as someone that's helping to change other people's lives and using your testimony to help other people. Like that makes me so proud, you know, just to even call you cousin and call you sister.
Thank you.
And I love you so much.
Thank you. Leaving that legacy for the ones that's behind us.
That's right. That's right. Legacy.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Family.
That's right. That's right.
Can't
Family
beat
first.
It.
That's right.
Can't beat it.
Yeah. So I gotta give me 1 second, because I have to actually pull up these results from. We had a poll today about Jay-Z, whether or not he had the rap verse of the year with his verse from West Free. So, Sean, I don't know if you heard the verse yet.
Which one?
From West Free, the song with Meek Mill and Rick Ross.
Yeah. I just listened to it the other day. I have not really. With me and music, I love music. I listen to the beats first. I listen to the production first, and then I go back and pay attention to the lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard. I heard it, but I haven't paid that much attention to it yet.
Okay. So you haven't busted
right.
it all the way down yet.
Yeah.
Had to sit with it a little bit.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I have a bunch of friends, and I'm that way too, because I had to listen to it a couple of times, especially because I knew I was going to talk about it, and especially because Jay-Z's my favorite rapper. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, let me before I like become a prisoner of the moment, let me actually sit with this a couple of times. And when I sat with it long enough, I was like, yeah, Jay dropping some gems.
Yeah, I need to hear that. I need to hear that.
So in our poll, 75% of people said it is the rap verse of the year.
Wow.
And only 25% of people said no.
So you're saying the rap verse of the year. This is December, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you talking about, what about everything 12 months prior or 11 months prior?
Well, that's what they saying. Like everything to 11 months prior don't matter.
And it's just a verse, just
it's
one particular verse.
Just one, and that's the thing. Like, is it like just taking a singular verse, not a song, not an album, just one verse?
Just
like,
one verse.
Yeah, just one verse that's like memorable, or that's just like it just hits you. You know, for me, frankly, it was instant. Like as soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is special. But then I kept listening to it. I was like, again, I didn't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I was like, okay. Then I started. What's funny is like God was talking to me as I was breaking it down. I literally like sitting on my love seat, and was all these things just came to me. And I know it was God was like, okay, he's really saying this here. I was like, dang, I didn't even think of it like that when I first heard it. It's like all these things just came, like it just like kind of expanded and became this whole big thing that I don't even know if Jay-Z even saw it that way. I'm sure he did.
Right.
But it's just like so many layers to it that it was like, and the thing is why Jay is one of my favorite rappers is the way he says things. It's not even necessarily what he says, it's how he says it.
Right.
How he delivers it. And knowing his story on top of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so knowing his story on top of that. So, yeah, that's why I thought it was, and, you know, I didn't want to be a stan on top of that. Because, you know, sometimes people, they'll stand for their favorite artist, like, oh, everything he does is great. You know, it's like he never does anything wrong. I'm not that person with Jay. I'm not, I never have been that. I've never been that person with any artist.
Yeah.
You know, like if I like an artist, I can look at them objectively and say, okay, that's a great verse. Or I could look at them and say, that was all right.
Right.
You know, like you kind of got upstaged on that one.
Yeah.
You know.
He had a couple, even though his flops still sell.
Right.
100,000s.
Right.
One joint I really like with Jay, I got introduced to him on Reasonable Doubt. Growing into him as an adult, I really like American Gangster soundtrack.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't talk about it, but if you look at it, that's one of his signature moments. But it's overshadowed by everything else.
It is. I say that, bro. See, this one is my man right here.
That American Gangster,
my man right there.
that joint there, and the collabo that I really love on there is with him and Lil Wayne.
You know what's funny? I was so lukewarm on that at first, but then I kept listening to the album, and I'm riding around at the time. Like when I first got the album, I'm in Philly, and so I'm riding around Philly, bumping the album the whole time because the Mrs. she's a Jay-Z fan, and so she the one that kept trying to sell me on Hello Brooklyn. I was like, it's all right. Then I kept listening to it. I was like, hey, I kind of like this joint. And then bumping the ride. It's like, it's got to pass the car test. Songs got to pass the car test.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that one passed the car test. So I feel you on that one.
Yeah,
So what's the car test?
you got to listen to it in the car.
You got to listen to it in the car, like especially with like music like hip hop, because really anything, but specifically hip hop, because I feel like hip hop is geared towards speakers, you know, like car speakers. Like the bass got to hit a certain way. The bass drum got to hit a certain way. The snare got to hit a certain way.
Yeah.
Like the the bass lines got to be like booming. Like it's got to have a certain pizzazz when you hear it in the car, because sometimes you can listen to it in your ears and it sounds good.
It's good.
Or you can listen to it on your computer speakers and it sounds good. But if it passes the car test and it bumps in the ride, it's like, then that's when it passes. Yeah,
it's just different sounds. It's just I can listen to anything through my headphones and it sounds good through these.
Yeah.
But then if I put my beats on, it's gonna sound a whole lot better.
Yeah. Whole nother level.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah. Ask Maurice about the car test.
Yeah. You can hear him coming through the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. So before we close up, I definitely want to I had to give a bunch of birthday shout outs. So Sagittarius season still going strong. Yeah, this your season. You know I got you on the shout outs when it's around your birthday. My cousin Janiqua, she celebrated birthday the 28th of November. Homegirl Malika, November 29th. Brooklyn and Katana Zane, who we've been playing on the show, both celebrated birthdays December 2nd. Okay. Donnell Johnson, who was tuned in earlier, shout out. Tierra McQueen, who used to live across the street from me. Sean Parker, I used to go to school with. And Showtime, Foreplay the Orgasm Show, celebrated birthdays on Monday. My boy Travis from Hobart, and my main judge that I clerk for down at the courts, Judge Rigsby, celebrated birthdays yesterday.
All right.
Same day as my favorite rapper, Jay-Z, just turned 49. My man Mike Barnett, happy birthday. Today is his birthday, so happy birthday, bro. Big supporter. Tiffany and Uncle Dunham celebrating birthdays tomorrow. Also, my former boss, Adrian Fenty, is also celebrating a birthday tomorrow. My homegirl Vita, Travola, they're celebrating birthdays Friday. Alonzo, Ralph, and my man Malik go way, way back, celebrating birthdays Saturday. Danella Harvey, who's a huge supporter of the show, creator of Dominex Magazine, she's celebrating her birthday next Monday. And DH Major, my homie, who we feature on the show every now and then, and my main man JT celebrating birthdays next Tuesday. Right. I will be announcing the stuff for the Bars Community Calendar on IG. I don't really have time to do it during the show. I definitely wanted to close with the Bars for Life. So this is a quote from H. Jackson Brown Jr. And what's funny is that the quote actually ties with some song lyrics that I've written for an album I'm coming out with. Ooh. And so his quote says, "Opportunity dances with those already on the dance floor." And so what's funny is that my lyrics say, and it's actually in two songs, it say, even if I'm late to the party, I can still dance, but I got to make it to the party for a real chance.
Wow.
And so I mean, it's really that simple. It's like you just having the bravery to dance whatever dancing means for you. You know, stepping out on faith. Right. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that, look, I can't stand around. I can't just sit around and expect things to happen.
Right.
I have to actually be an active participant in what I want to see happen. Okay. It's a matter of speaking it as if it already is. And when you have the opportunity, get out there, take advantage of it.
Right.
Live it up.
I love it.
Yeah. So, Bars for Life for this week.
All right.
Well, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for letting me kick the door in. Glad I got a chance to meet you two beautiful ladies.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations on your books coming out. Hope y'all much success. You keep doing what you're doing, man. Much success to you. We'll be back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know
I expect it.
You don't come through our show. You kick the door in.
Yeah, one of these Tuesdays when I'm off, I'm definitely gonna have to come through.
Yeah, if y'all got anything going on December 15th, we got the sock drive.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we're gonna be down there in what's the square downtown for the we do a help the homeless. So what we're gonna
Franklin
do?
Square?
Franklin Square.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing socks this time, but then also that socks are the main thing, but we're gonna be taking blankets, hats, coats, whatever. You know. Okay. You know, if y'all ain't doing nothing, y'all want to donate, come on down there. We're gonna have hot chocolate and and some socks.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and close up the show. Appreciate everybody who was tuned in today to Bars, Team Bars. Y'all roll through all the time. We appreciate y'all. Yes. Shout out once again, Carolyn. Hold on one second. Bear with me one second, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Santa will be here. Shops at Iverson, 5 to 8 p.m. This was it Saturday? Oh, today. So those of y'all who didn't have to go to work today, you got kids, bring them right here to the mall. Shops at Iverson. Santa will be here from 5 to 8 p.m. Shops at Iverson, 3701 Branch Avenue, Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. You know. Yeah, come see Santa.
I didn't know they still did that.
But you know, Iverson, man, they lit these days. You know what I'm saying? I remember it was a meme going around like, I want to love as strong as Iverson Mall's will to stay open.
Wow. Hey, that's deep.
That is deep.
I love the will that's strong as long as, damn.
That's strong.
They talked about ripping this joint down so many times, man.
Right. Still here.
In my teenage years, they were talking about ripping this.
I mean, but what would you put here though?
Exactly. Like Iverson's a staple. You know?
It's a landmark.
Yeah.
Well, Triples was too, but they knocked that joint all the way down.
Triples. Oh man.
They wanted some money for Triples.
Right, they did.
I remember that.
Triples cost some money.
Oh man. So anybody want some give some parting words before we shut it down officially? Y'all good?
We good.
All right.
I guess we all good. I guess, I will say thanks again for having me, and everybody out there, please tune in every Tuesday.
Yes.
I can say every Tuesday because I'm on both shows. You got Ladies of Let's Be Clear, Nina and Becky, myself, Mike Reed, and also on Mike's Corner.
Yes.
On Mike's Corner, I'm known as Mr. Sean Diddy of the city, but on Let's Be Clear, they be trying to cut me in half and just leave me as Sean. So, just tune in. We have our good days. We try to do what we do. And to everybody out there, if you're going through something, get through it day by day and, keep your head up.
Yes.
That's right.
Love yourself.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's the key.
Absolutely.
Love yourself.
Yes. So thank everybody for coming through today.
Thank you.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are the official Hump Day Motivation for the DMV and beyond. Thank you so much. Also, next week, 2 guests. We got Ryan Lucas at 11:15, and then we got Gold Standard at noon. So make sure y'all tune in. We got a packed show, as we always do, right here on Bars. See y'all next week. Y'all have a wonderful week. Those of y'all who are off, like me, enjoy your day off.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day off.
Yes.
I'll